Reverend Suzanne. I remember Reverend Maggie used to always say that. I'm still Reverend Maggie. And this month in the Centers for Spiritual Living, we're talking about holy boldness. And if you are a Science of Mind magazine subscriber, or you read the dailies in the Science of Mind magazine, it's been all about boldness. Be bold in your practice, bold curiosity, bold pride, bold imagination, be boldly open at the top and the bottom, the antithesis of boldness, bold habits, make bold choices, and ask with boldness. You get it? Yeah. To be bold. Bold doesn't have to be outrageous. So my talk today is about reaching higher, because I believe we're always, each of us, growing and evolving. And our spiritual consciousness is ready and waiting to lift us up higher. It's got our back, always. Are you willing to be tapped into the greatness of God or the divine expressing through you at all times? Yes. Are you willing?
Yes.
Yes. Are you willing? Said so. Are you willing to boldly embody the infinite love?
Yes.
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 Affirm with me, I am ready to ascend.
I am ready to ascend
to higher heights.
To higher heights.
In my spiritual awareness.
In my spiritual awareness.
Higher heights takes us higher than where we are right now. And we can't lift our vision and expectations by looking downward or worrying about what happened and looking back with regret. We have to elevate our vision upward. We can't carry our baggage. Well, you can. You can carry your baggage as much as you want. I remember there's a Native American saying, let go of the wagon. Let go of the wagon. Take your backpack off. Did you know that we have unlimited potential and abundant resources at our immediate disposal?
Yes.
You should if you've ever been here very long. However, we have to first remove those hidden beliefs that tell us we don't, we can't, we never will, we aren't, right? The truth is we live in a bountiful universe of greatness that is continuously wanting us to go higher, if we're open to it, if we give ourselves permission to let it happen. I give myself permission to grow and glow. Let's say that. I give myself permission to grow and glow. Grow and glow. Oh, that's a good little Science of Mind. Let's sell that. We sell grow and glow. I have a book study starting this week, Busting Loose from the Money Game. It's kind of a funky little cover, but it has a lot to do with consciousness. And it's not just about money. And in this book, we play with the understanding. He talks about that everything we experience is being created by what he calls our expanded self. And in the book, we learn to make decisions that are only based on what will bring us the most long-term spiritual joy. And we work with different processes that show us where our discomfort is, and then claiming our power back and rising to a higher vibration of love. So if you want to join us, we're starting on Tuesdays. Those of you out of town, it's also going to be on Zoom, so you can also attend on Zoom. That's my little commercial today. In the Science of Mind, we believe that the universal presence is limited with unlimited resources and supply. And this means that abundance in our life can be overflowing and plenty. However, like I said, we have to play a part to experience and manifest this in our own life. We have to participate in the spiritual law of circulation, ensuring that we're not harboring beliefs of lack and limitation, And when we are in that divine flow with spirit, our life then will reflect the abundance of our heart's desire. Even if our circumstances may not seem prosperous or opulent, our attitude can still reflect an abundance consciousness. Hear that. Even if what's happening in your life doesn't look good, behind that, if you can have an attitude of something greater, something better. One thing I always say to you is, if I could have a new thought about this old condition, what would that new thought be? Just turn the switch. Change the channel. What are you listening to? Oh. Because you know, not all people who are rich in resources are happy people. Have you ever noticed? In order to continue excelling in life and ascending in consciousness, we must be open to moving to a higher place, higher height. And we have to do our practices. So as we continue to grow in consciousness, we move beyond where we are to another rung on the ladder. We begin to notice our growth and that we're kind of past where we used to react to things. We grow, we mature, we gain wisdom. We begin to see things more clearly. We begin to hear that intuitive voice maybe a little bit more. And some things just don't seem as difficult as they used to be. Anybody ever got that feeling from this study? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know you all do. Because if you've been at the Foothill Center for any length of time, you've noticed, I'm sure, and you're much more aware quickly of when you're off track. Everybody's nodding their head. And when you're connected. When you're connected. Sometimes on that climb, we hit a plateau where we can stop and rest, or we can make it to the top and pause to take in the view before we have something else to scale. Something else comes in front of us. We don't have our heads in the sand in this philosophy. We claim it has no power over us. So something may be showing up physically in your life, a health challenge, a mental challenge, an emotional challenge, a relationship. Does it have power over you? That's the question. As we apply our spiritual tools and practices, we ascend to something higher. We reach higher. I gratefully reach higher. Say that with me. I gratefully reach higher. Again, I gratefully reach higher. Whatever that means to you, whatever struggle you might have, you have a choice to reach, to turn, to step somewhere else. As I said, Rex and I just got back from this road trip, and one of the places we went was Port Townsend, Washington, where my nephew lives, and he is a naturalist who takes people all over the world and fills them in on nature, the birds and the plants and all of that. And he wrote an article for this magazine called Adventures Northwest. He wrote an article called Life on the Edge, the West Coast Trail by Stephen Grace. It's a 50-mile trail on Canada's Vancouver Island, called the WCT. You may have heard of it before. On this 50-mile trail, there's 70 ladders that you have to go up and go down throughout the terrain on this 50 miles. Now these ladders, we saw pictures of them, they're pretty wide. They're wooden, right? But he said some of the ladders are 20 feet tall and tilted at a user-friendly angle of around 60 degrees. Other ladders tower 50 feet or more, and some seem disturbingly close to vertical. So imagine this. You got a backpack on. Right, do I need to say more?
No.
And I don't know, how heavy is his pack, Rex? Like 40 pounds?
Say 40 pounds.
Probably 40 pounds.
Wow.
Right? So he said to prepare for the trek, He suggests find a ladder, preferably a wobbly one with a few rungs missing, and load your backpack on, put it on, and then climb up and down the ladder a dozen times while somebody's spraying you with a hose. Because of the downpours there. To get you used to being in the rain.
It's a rainforest.
It's a rainforest, right.
Wow.
So you got the picture? So he and his wife did this 50-mile trek.
Wow.
They took pictures of it, and he wrote this amazing article. So he said, what is the point of following a trail like the West Coast Trail into the wilderness? If I'm limited to one word, he said, perspective. Give me 2 words, I'll add humility. Allow me a third, and compassion completes the list. We are all so vulnerable out there on a trail like the WCT. It makes sense to be kind to each other, to share information about the hazards ahead, to not hoard what we have, and to offer assistance on the trail. Hear that? I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? Even in our life, to be kind, to share what we have. Michelle's sharing her bread today. Offer help. Warn people of some hazards. He says, we may be strong now, but a moment's inattention, one misstep, a single slip, and we are the ones in need. There's no trail more challenging than the path we navigate through life, he says. A truth that all of us, including myself, tend to forget or choose to ignore soon after we leave the wilds. A rule of the physics on the West Coast Trail, what goes up one ladder must come down another, with a pack on. A rule of psychology here, do not stand at the top of the ladder and look down. Do not dwell on your fatigue, your disorientation, or dwell on the pack on your back. That will throw you off balance as you descend. And do not focus on the fact that the ladder shakes every time you shift your weight. The foundational rule, he says, of all West Coast Trail rules, every step is critical. Pay attention. Every thought, this is me, is critical. Pay attention. Right? Every decision we make, every choice we make is critical to our well-being. Pay attention. I say all the time, where am I coming from? How does it serve me? How's that making me feel? How's it working for me to be upset all the time? How's that working for me? Every step is critical. So Amy, his wife, tracked her steps. And over the course of 7 days, the device on her wrist recorded 180,093 steps.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Almost every one of those required fierce concentration, he said. Now, they enjoyed themselves, but they were aware. So he says, finally, if you enjoy letting your mind wander while hiking on cruiser trails, the West Coast Trail might not be for you. If you want to just cruise through life. If, however, you're like me and find that focusing intensely on your surroundings as you move through complicated terrain is a form of meditation that shuts down the inane chatter in your brain, then the West Coast Trail will be your bliss. Nature, he says, built us for survival. We are capable of more than we think we are. Thank you, Nephew Steve. Can you just imagine that? So ask yourself right now, are there any obstacles to my moving to higher heights in my life? And what are they? What am I afraid of? And maybe you're happy where you are. That's fine. But just to notice if there's something calling you. Is your soul calling you to do something? To be someone? To go somewhere? As we reach higher in our spiritual experience through our sacred relationship with Spirit, it can be a form of ascending to a heavenly state, like climbing a ladder. In the science of mind, we believe that heaven is a state of consciousness, right? It's not a place we go to when we die. I know you've heard that before. So how do we get there? And what are the steps that we take for this heavenly ascension in consciousness? Well, obvious things are we can do it through meditation, having a consistent practice, prayer, spiritual mind treatment, studying sacred writings, sacred music or movement, whatever brings a greater understanding of the meaning of life and higher levels of awareness. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, said, "We are surrounded by an infinite possibility. It is goodness, life, law, and reason, and it wishes to express through us." Through us. I do believe that the universe meets us where we are, supports our efforts, and invites us to more growth and expansion. Because we are forever being born anew and rising into a new experience with our own greatness. Whether you're doing the work to heal your old wounds or old beliefs, or whether we're in outreach to the community, we all continue to climb the ladder to that heaven that is our inner consciousness. And then we expand. Expand into something maybe we never thought possible. Spirit guides and lifts us up into higher heights. But we have to be open and give ourselves permission. I give myself permission to grow and glow. Let's say that again.
I give myself permission to grow and glow.
And Ernest Holmes also said, "It is right that we should be successful. For otherwise, spirit is not expressed. The divine cannot lack for anything, and we should not lack for anything that makes life worthwhile here on earth." So I have a life balance worksheet that I want to